Ladies and gentlemen, if you've clicked on this video, chances are you want to become a better fighter in zero build and consistently drop high elimination games. Well, today I've prepared an in-depth guide on how you can win almost every single fight that you take. I'll be breaking this video down into 3 categories: bunker fights, low HP fights, and car fights, along with some gameplay breakdown as I dive into certain fights that I take and show you what goes inside my mind when I'm playing aggressively. Before we jump straight into the video, I want to thank Blaze for leaving a positive comment on the channel. I read every single comment, so if you want to be featured in my next video, comment something down below. Let's see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes, and if you'd like to support me by using code Kaviner in the Fortnite item shop, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's jump straight into the video. So let's talk about bunker fights. I'm here in creative to explain certain things that you may or may not know about bunker fights, and I will also show some examples in the background of several different bunker fights that I got from playing a lot of creative. So one of the most important things that people still don't know to this day is that you can mantle on top of a bunker without bouncing off of these stars. A lot of times I see people pushing a bunker and doing something like this. Bounce off the tires. What you should be doing instead is running up on the corners of the bunkers and mantling up like this. This is the most effective way to push a bunker from the front. This can be very useful if you end up cracking the person who pops a bunker and you want a fast way in, and instead of busting through the door and becoming possibly exposed to the person healing in here, you instead mantle up and now have the high ground, and you could even start breaking with your pickaxe, pulling out your shotgun and trying to finish the job. Now, if you knew that tip, you may not know this one because I barely see anybody using it. If somebody has a bunker placed and you'd like to throw them off and push them, throw your bunker straight at them, and what it does, breaks their tires and places your tires there instead. So from your perspective, you are taking shots at a player just fine, but the player on this side, if they try to run up, they will be bounced with those tires, leaving them absolutely confused and giving you a lot of free shots. Now, the last little trick I want to show you is you can stack your bunkers on top of one another just like this, and basically giving yourself a ramp up just like you're playing builds. This can be very useful if there's somebody in a bunker in front of you and you'd like to get an angle from above, but you don't want to mantle and take that 50-50. So now let me show you some of these examples in action. Here I'm fighting a duo, and notice how I'm looking to get some damage in first before I make my final push. I decide that I dealt enough damage and I go for the mantle play, and they look absolutely clueless. I'm able to knock one, and the other one was rather weak and running around in the open looking clueless, so I'm able to get the job done. In this example, I want to show you how you can use the tires in your advantage, as I'm able to knock one player. I run up this ramp and slide into the tires, and I'm able to bounce straight towards into the enemy. Here's an example of how you can get a team out of a bunker by using shockwaves. Utilize your utilities, and don't forget you have them, because they can be more useful than you think, and shockwaves are some of the most versatile things you can have in the game. Here I want to show you how you can break the ramp inside of your opponent's bunker. Simply throw the bunker sideways at their front just like this. As you can see, the ramps on the inside are broken. Now my teammate goes down, and notice how I never leave the bunker here and utilize it for cover and use my shockwaves to my advantage yet again. And notice how I also play with the berries. I'm able to throw these shockwaves to get this player out of cover and leave him in the open. I'm able to crack him, and I leave him alone because the other guy's pushing me, so I was able to get the knock on that player. Just to make a point, I decided to play with a berry to show you how hard it can be to fight against someone who has a berry popped. I take this berry and I'm simply just jumping over his head, and he has no clue how to track me, running around clueless. Here I'm able to catch this guy off guard by using the tire trick I showed you earlier and bouncing to the corner of the bunker where I'm able to mantle and take a lot of free shots and crack the player. Notice how I'm shooting this guy. I'm jumping up and moving backwards, intentionally falling back to get some cover, and now I'm able to have a right peak advantage and knock that player, and the other guy was just a piece of cake. We end up killing him easily. Now here yet again I show you how I utilize my shockwaves to get the player out of the bunker, put him out in the open, and again it's just some free shots. Here's an example of me bouncing a player off using my own bunker. I throw the bunker straight at him, and as you can see, it bounces him back, leaving him clueless, and he ends up running back and doing it again, and he just has no chance there. So now that we've covered some of those bunker fights, I hope you now have a better understanding of how to utilize bunkers to your advantage. I'm now going to take you into a game and move on to our next category, where we talk about low HP fights. Now, of course, we never want to be in a situation where we're at low HP, but it's going to happen occasionally. The biggest tip that I can give when fighting on low HP is understand your options and play till the very last option possible. You are at a low chance of winning a fight if you've been cracked first. However, check if you have grapplers, shockwaves, or the mythic item for movement to get yourself out of a sticky situation. And now this is also why it's so important to carry fast heals. I'm here to preach to you that the best healing items are shieldfish, floppers, pizzas, and vending machines. Because when low, if you're able to put yourself into cover, you can immediately hop those heals and get to 200 HP very fast. So make sure you know where all the vending machines are located, so if you have the option to run, you're running with a purpose to find some healing items. This also includes knowing where coolers are and so on. But let's dive into some examples. So here I get sniped and I do not panic. I have a lot of fast heals and some mobility, but the first thing I need to do is get in some cover. I automatically assume that this player is going to try and push me, so I grapple into zone because they're not going to be as likely to push me if I'm in the storm, and I know I have a vending machine in case I need some whites nearby. But what I decide to do here is to create as much distance as possible, is hop in this vehicle, boost myself away. I now confirm that this player is chasing me. I use the car as natural cover, and I spot that he's just standing in the open taking shots as me, so this is my chance to get out here, head glitch the car, and crack the player. And I definitely have a health advantage here, and to minimize the chances of him healing, I use my mobility to get to him, and I'm able to get the job done. Here I'm fighting a really good player, and he gets a snipe off on me, but I'm not panicking because I know I have a medallion. After he cracked me, I was able to hit a snipe as well, cracking him back, except he only broke my overshield, but I actually cracked his entire shield, so he is now white. Now I play very cautious here, knowing that I can quickly pop a shieldfish before playing aggressive on him. So I hop back behind a tree, pop a shieldfish, and here as I'm trying to close the distance and get a little bit more aggressive, he hits a nasty snipe, and notice how I immediately shift my focus to getting some cover and popping a heal. I do just that to redirect myself behind this rock, pop a shieldfish, and he's put himself in the open because he was trying to get the kill so bad. I hit a nice snipe, follow up with some crazy AR shots. Low HP fights are really not as hard as you may think, because a lot of players tend to be over aggressive when cracking you, which gives you a lot of room to take shots at them while they're chasing you. That is also something that you need to take to your advantage. So knowing how to reposition, create space, and give yourself time to heal and reset the fight is very important. Another thing I forgot to mention is if you have a sniper, a lot of times evening the fight out only takes one bullet, just like you saw in that last example. Now we're going to dive into the last category, in my absolute favorite category, car fights. Now here I'm mostly going to cover fights where cars are involved, in a game where I was able to get a 17 elimination win, but I'm also going to talk about other things that I'm able to do in this game that make me stand out from the rest of the lobby. Before I jump into that gameplay, I want to show you some tricks here in creative first. So of course, a very simple understanding that a lot of you already know is you can use this car as a bunker. Essentially, when I play my games, I rarely ever carry a bunker because I usually have a car. But let's pretend that this tree right here is a player. What I always want to try and make sure I do is drive up to this player with the passenger seat facing towards them, just like so. That way when I get out the car, I have the car for cover. I hop out on this car, being able to head glitch and take some shots at this player. However, sometimes creating that angle can be very hard, especially if your car is consistently being shot at. So if I'm not driving to the player at that angle, what I want to do is drive up to this player, stop the car, switch seats, get out the car, and I will get out on the other side of the car. I know it sounds simple and stupid that I'm explaining this, but the amount of times that I've seen players drive up to the tree and get out on the wrong side and completely expose themselves is unbelievable. And now another trick that you're about to see a lot in these next examples that I show you in game is the pickaxe car trick that I've talked briefly about in some of my videos. So let's say there's a player in a car driving up to me. What I want you to do is swing my pickaxe right as I'm about to get in the car and then point it at the driver's seat, and I will consistently be smacking him for 20 damage. As you'll see, a lot of people don't know what's going on when you're doing that. Just make sure when you get in the car, you're still holding that pickaxe animation, because if you let go, you'll have to get out the car and get back in with the swing to make it work yet again. So now let's jump into a game and pick my brain apart. So here as I'm pushing up to the vault, I know there's a player in my vicinity because of the medallion shown on the map, and I also use my ears and heard some footsteps. I'm approaching this vault with a lot of caution, knowing that he could be camping at any corner of this basement. This is when I spot his foot, and I have a sniper, so all I have to do is deal some damage with the sniper straight to the toe, which is exactly what I do, and I'm just able to run in there with a massive health advantage and finish up the fight. After cleaning that up, I get in the car and start looking for my next victim, and I spot this player, and here's why I prefer the Lambo over the G-Wagon, because it is faster and makes pulling off the pickaxe trick even easier. This guy clearly doesn't want to get out as I'm chasing him. I end up messing up the pickaxe because he drives a little too far ahead, but I'm able to use the grappler to then do the pickaxe trick just like we talked about earlier, and he has no clue what is going on with him right now. He gets out the car, and at this point he's weak, so I clean up that fight. This next fight, I'm going up against the Oscar shotgun player, so I know he's going to play aggressive. He grapples up to me, and I notice that I've exposed myself, and he may be able to get a free shot, so I immediately hop back into the car, switch seats, get out on the other side, and now I have cover. This player was not expecting me to do this. This is exactly what I talked about earlier. Switching seats is important. I'm able to hit a bunch of jump shots and crack him up, and here's where I go for the pickaxe play yet again. I predict that he's going to go for the car because that is his only escape route. I'm patiently waiting for him to get in the car here, knowing that he will get in there, pickaxe him, and kill him. Just like so. Now, this next fight is a great example of how you need to be very patient when you have a car and a sniper, and the other players playing very passive. What they're doing is waiting for you to get out the car and make a mistake. So here I'm using the car for cover, getting out and trying to go for a snipe, trying to hit a shot. The advantage of being by a car is the fact that even if he cracks me, I'm able to get right in the car and drive off, switch seats, and pop a heel. There's a lot of things that I can do in the case that he ends up cracking me, and I'm not going to push this player aggressively unless I'm able to crack him first, making it very difficult for him to fight me. And here I reposition, make him look up my car thinking I'm still driving, quickly hop out the car, and I'm able to go for a nasty headshot snipe. Now in this next game, I pull up something that you all should be doing a lot more often. I know there's a player near me based on the map, seeing him as a medallion, so I take a bunch of shots at the ground just to lure him in, and that's exactly what he does. I'm able to catch him rotating straight to those shots, thinking he can third party, but in reality I'm just waiting for him, take a free shot, and absolutely destroy him. Here I'm driving to a player who's also driving up to me, which is a perfect opportunity yet again for me to pull off the pickaxe play. This guy has no clue that I'm pickaxing him this whole time. He's absolutely clueless. Just goes to show how many people really don't know about this, and because he's weak, I get out the car and I'm able to kill him just like that. I get in an awkward fight, I drive around, use my cover, but this guy's very smart. He's using his ledge to the advantage, also playing patient like me. So I keep driving around and repositioning. After repositioning a bunch, I try to alpha him off of this hill. That's exactly what happens, which ends up leaving him in the open, and I'm able to get out of the car, go for a free snipe here, and then I'm just chasing him down the whole time, and I know I have the health advantage, so I easily clear up the fight yet again. I have the Oscar shotgun, so I'm very confident that I win most of my close range fights. This is the one condition where you can go for 50-50s because it is by far the best gun you can have for that situation. I land on the island and this guy's trying to get up to me, so what you have to make sure in this scenario is be the first person to take shots and deal damage. And I have the Oscar shotgun, so I'm clearly just putting in shots, backing him up, and by the time he lands, he's already way weaker than me, and I win this fight. There's another player below me. As I spot him, I shoot him. Notice how here, as I'm jumping over, I'm jumping to the next possible cover as opposed to just getting straight into his face. On top of that, I run out of my shotgun shots, and I quickly realize that, switch to my AR and follow up with those shots as well, because I jumped over and got some cover. That is why I was able to win this fight. At this point, there's one player left in the game, and he's sitting in that bunker in front of me. I have a bush for cover. He's not playing very aggressive, so I spray the bunker to force him to reposition to possibly give me high ground, because if he leaves this bunker, I can take it over and completely destroy him. So as I'm spraying, I realize he's not dealing any damage back. He's not trying to take any shots, and I'm trying to figure out where he's at. Because he's not aggressive, I take my time. I have to pop a pizza, and here is when I spot him jumping behind that rock. As soon as he gives me that information, I now take the bunker over, knowing that he's not there anymore, and now I have the high ground because he made the mistake of leaving his bunker and not taking back any shots, and just like that, I'm able to win the game. Now I know I just threw a lot at you, but I promise you applying any of these tips will make you better at the game. The number one important thing to do is just to practice them one at a time. Don't try to throw these things all at once. For example, maybe just try and master the swing and pickaxe trick, go into creative, practice mantling on a bunker, practice switching car seats. Those things are surprisingly important to do if you happen to not be very good at them. That is exactly how you're going to get better at the game. And if you found this video helpful and you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. I post competitive Fortnite content every single week, as well as some educational stuff like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.